Hello and welcome to another edition of the Get Growing Weekly Work Session with GetOiling. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of GetOiling, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hello, everyone. Really glad you're here today.
We are. We're also excited to have Colin and Julie with us here today. Hey, guys.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing, everybody?
So we want to welcome you. We're excited to be here as we are every Thursday at noon US Eastern Time. This is an opportunity to get together as a community to learn how we can grow and work smarter, incorporating sharing in ways that feel more natural, are more organized, and of course, keeping all of that organization in one place with your Get Oiling system. So today we are going to be talking about something that's a little adjacent to the work that we do. It's less about the how to do the stuff of Young Living brand partnership or coaching or service providing, whatever the things are that you do. It's really the thing that powers your efficacy in those other tasks. So today we're talking about how you manage your time and how you set up your calendar. And I'm also going to be showing you how you can connect your digital calendar to your Get Oiling system so that you never have to worry about conflicts when you are busy versus when you're available, and how people can hop on to your schedule to have a chat with you, whether those be paid calls or free ones that you're offering to your team or to leads. So again, welcome. We're excited to have you here today. Get Oiling is your one-stop shop, everything that you need to grow your brand partner business and all the stuff that you do that supports and complements it. So if you offer other types of services, everything is here in one place. And you've got a team here that knows and loves product and uses it just like you do, and of course understands how to help you grow your business. So I hope that you enjoy this. Let's go ahead and we're going to pop out a video. I've got some slides prepared for you guys. Head into the chat, introduce yourself, let us know where you're coming in from. GetOiling does have a community. We serve folks from everywhere in the world. No matter where you are, if you're a brand partner, you're in the right place here with GetOiling on Thursdays. Today we're going to talk about time block planning. This is something that I learned a good number of years ago and started teaching actually a few years ago to our community here about how we can actually start protecting our focus and taking back the time that we lose to the scroll, to distraction, and just to the inability that most of us have baked in to really focus on what it is that we need to focus on. Now, this isn't a deficiency that we have. It really just is something that we are typically never formally taught to do, especially in the digital age where everything can be so distracting and take us away from our ability to be effective in the time that we spend on our work. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about how you can design a weekly schedule that actually works for your life. No matter how busy you are, no matter what kind of commitments you might have, we're going to show you how you can put this together in one place so that you have visibility into what you have coming up, and so that your ability to meet others in the times that you've made available are things that you don't have to labor to negotiate. You've got a way to easily share what that looks like for them. We'll talk about what that looks like, as well as how we can break free of the reactive cycle of how we work. This really is something that has gotten worse, I think, for the majority of us over time. The more integrated our lives become with technology, the more likely it is that we get reactive and stop working intentionally. So I want to really show you today how to make a shift into intentionality and how you spend your time, particularly your working hours. We're going to talk about, to that end, how we can make big projects finally happen without adding more work hours to your schedule. And you'll learn how GetOiling's calendar system eliminates your manual availability updates. So again, even if you have a complex schedule, right? If you have maybe a 9 to 5, or you have some kind of a job that you work, you also have services you provide to paid clients. Maybe you, of course, also have family and personal obligations, and you've got the need to be connecting with people and sharing Young Living. We got to be able to fit all of that in where it can go. So I'm going to show you how to do that here today, and to connect it to GetOiling so that when you share a link and say you can hop on my calendar, all the times there are accurate, right? And then, of course, as always, we'll get into live help and Q&A. So if you came here today with questions, please do go ahead and add those to the Q&A. We've got the founder of the platform here. We've got Greg and we've got Julie and Colin here, who are equipped to answer questions as well, whether they have to do with today's topic or not. If you're not on a live call and you're watching this in the future as a recording, please make sure you come join us. You can ask questions live. We can work on things together. It's just a great opportunity to get together if you can fit it into your schedule. GetOiling.com/weekly work session. If you'd like to work together on a call like this one, you can get my hands on your work, my eyes on what you're doing. If you want help, support, strategic review, etc. These calls on Thursdays, we do reserve space for this, and you can RSVP for it right here, getoiling.com/website review. And if you would like to join on another small group dedicated call, if you need hands-on help, maybe at a slower pace or with a little bit more time afforded, go to getoiling.com/live help. Pam is a member of our team. She is brilliant and capable and can help you get what you need done in other times if you're not available at noon US Eastern Time on Thursdays. Finally, we have a team that can get work done for you. So if you need a website done, if you are looking to migrate over from another service, whatever that looks like, our team has the skills to do it. And I think you would be really thrilled with what they create. You can learn more about them here at getoiling.com/concierge. All right. So question for you, are you running your business? So most brand partners stay stuck in reactive mode, right? Most of us are just reacting to the pings, to the dings, and to whatever is on fire in front of us right now. That means we're constantly checking messages, we're responding to emails, we're jumping between tasks, and it's no wonder we don't really see the progress that we want to see toward getting the things done that we would like to see done to move our business forward, right? So if we're not running our business may be running us. So without intentional structure, we're staying in survival mode in the work that we do. And it leaves us exhausted, feeling like we're left behind, feeling like we're failing at what we're doing. But it's not about more hours. It's not about having more time. It's about how you spend the time you have, right? It is possible for you to actually comfortably, confidently get 3 times more done if you approach the way you work and how you structure your work just a little bit differently, right? This isn't about hustle. I promise you, nothing you're going to hear from me is about hustle. This is about optimizing what's available and getting yourself locked in and focused so that the things get done that need to get done. And then the rest of your time is freed up for whatever you want, right? However you want to spend your time. And this begins with really understanding that this idea of multitasking being a good thing is wrong. It's false. Multitasking isn't a talent. It is a focus deficiency. It doesn't work. It kills productivity and it limits creativity. It is basically us working our brains to the equivalent of like what adrenal fatigue does to our bodies, right? Trying to keep 2 plates spinning at the same time is not effective for either plate, right? So you can't focus, for instance, on email and create content and prospect all of these 3 things effectively at the same time. And trying to do everything all at once is going to mean that none of those things get done well. So if you've got the same amount of time, you can allot time to the things that need done. And you'll find that when you create the dedicated space for the thing that you want to get done, it gets done faster, right? So context switching is the silent time thief. This is the thing that is making you feel like you worked all day and got nothing done, right? So every time you switch tasks, you're actually losing time and mental energy, right? So when you are responding to the ping or the ding on your phone or the notification that pops up or whatever it is that is keeping you from just locking in and focusing on the task at hand, we have so much time that we waste coming back and trying to get back to where we were, right? That's a lot of lost time. And this can be as much as 1/3 of the time you spend in an entire working session is you simply trying to get back on the page you left off on, right? So checking email during your project work, it's going to destroy your focus. Trying to prospect while also managing your admin tasks means neither of these things get done well. So our first step is to actually, with a calendar, first we got to have a digital calendar. Quick show of hands today. Everybody here has a digital calendar, right? I'm going to be showing you a Google Calendar today. And these are free. You can create your own Google Calendar for this purpose. This can be a personal calendar of yours. You can actually connect multiple calendars into your GetOiling system, and we'll talk about that closer to the end of the training here today. But we need to have a digital calendar for this. My recommendation is going to be a Google Calendar for what I'm sharing with you here today, but I do believe that this is certainly doable through other calendar interfaces if you have them, right? So I'm going to show Google Calendar today, and what I'm going to show you is creating calendars from within your actual calendar account in your calendar app. And this daily template we're going to create is going to hold our recurring framework. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what mine actually looks like, right? Now, I think it's really important for you to understand that, and this is my Google Calendar here, and I'm not showing everything, but it's important for you to see here that this is intended to be a framework for sort of an ideal setup. It's not going to be everything every day. So for instance, previous iterations of this calendar, I really thought that I could be the girl that wakes up at 5:30 in the morning and exercises in the morning. That's just not the season of life that I'm in, right? So I want to make sure that I am putting a template in here that is truly reflective of the week that I want to have. Let me actually move forward in this calendar and show you. Yeah, so this is next week. Here's an example of next week, right? So I've got space for breakfast. I've got time in the mornings when I get up, and I have dedicated time in the mornings when I am not available to take meetings. So my calendar in GetOiling might say that I'm bookable from 9 to 5 Eastern time. Where Eastern's my time zone. But I know that between 8 and 10 a.m., that is some of the best opportunity for me to do creative work. So I save this for projects, right? So I ensure when I create an event like this, that this shows that I am busy and I'm using my daily template calendar for it. And when I say work and walk here, this is actually, I prep at the end of the day, each day. So that my folding treadmill is down and my sort of sit stand desk is up. And so when I come to sit down, when I come to work, I am standing up and walking during that period of time. So I'm actually working toward my exercise goals there as well. I do break these into 2-hour sections. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm working this entire time. For you, you might have an ongoing commitment where you have working hours for a job or for a business, right? So what your daily template is going to encompass is everything that represents categorically what you would be doing with your day, right? And so basically what you're going to do here in Google is you're going to look over here on the left-hand side of the calendar, and you're going to click where it says other calendars here, click this plus where it says add other calendars and create new calendar. And this is where I actually created the daily template, right? So I put daily template. I don't really need to put anything else here, and I can click create calendar. And then once it's done creating that calendar, you can see I actually have this new purple one here. And then I can go and create new events for it, right? So and this is Sunday, I don't schedule things on Sunday, but here's my Sunday. I can go here and I can choose the calendar that this is on. And of course, I can set all of the information about the event itself, right? So I would put all of the details in here. The calendar here is daily template. Let me choose that new one. Maybe here I have, I'm going to commit myself to doing Pilates. I'm gonna do exercise. I'm gonna do some kind of an exercise on Sunday mornings between 8 and 10 a.m. And that's going to start this coming Sunday. And I am going to repeat this. So this is the daily template. I'm going to go repeat custom. And I think I want to do this. Yeah, I'm just going to keep this on Sundays. I'm going to repeat weekly and never end it. I'm just going to keep it going. And I am busy during this period. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And so this is a part of my daily template. Okay. So obviously I already have a daily template calendar, so I'm going to delete this one because it's not really needed. But that's our first step, right? Our first step is to create a daily template calendar and then go into the calendar itself and lay out each of these sort of blocks of time that you intend to use and how you intend to use them. Now, let me show you just this week as an example here. I've got my daily template. I have my work and walk, like you guys saw before, right? So from 8 to 10 a.m., most days of the week. Now, on Tuesday, I actually commuted to take my dog to a special groomer. And so I adjusted my schedule accordingly. So I actually put my workspace here, accounting for when I dropped him off. But then I still scheduled work in that period of time. So looking here, I am working on creative work here. So project slides, I'm doing a migration from ChatGPT to Claude. So I planned these out ahead of time, and I'm going to show you what these blue things are here in just a minute. But these are in blocks of time where I am not available, right? I am not bookable. I am not shown as free. Now, these other sections in the afternoons, I do have blocks of time available, right? So if we go here, you can see that this says free. This doesn't mean that I'm actually free. I do intend to work. That's why I have these blocks of time recurring here, where I am actually planning to do some kind of work between 12:30 and 2. But this is the kind of work that I don't necessarily need to be locked in and hyper focused on, so that if someone books my time, so if a client or a lead or something like that books with me during this period, it'll be okay. So for instance, the kind of work that I might do in these types of periods of time would be prospecting work, right? The kind of work where I am already going to be engaging and kind of maybe switching a little bit more context. But for the more creative and in-depth or challenging work that I need to do, I'm going to keep those in these blocks of time that I've set up that are not interruptible, right? I do make sure that I include spaces for breaks. So lunch, for instance, I put breakfast in here as well. And I also ensure that I have space here for wrap up and next day prep. So just making sure that I am allotting time every day, maybe about 30 minutes, usually a little bit less than that. Again, what is here in the daily template schedule is really something that is a framework and not a hard constraint for you, right? So looking into the rest of the week, you can obviously see that I'm here right now. My Thursdays are a little bit different. I don't normally, put on makeup and get myself dressed for a camera, right? So I provide some space for myself on Thursdays because I have live broadcasts. I still do have space for doing my working and walking in the mornings. And then I have the calls that I do, right? And so these are set up here. If someone books during the weekly work session, that would show up over top here, just like this one shows here, right? And I even have space where I will plug in other work that I'm doing. So for my S Corp, for instance, I've got to do some accounting updates for my accountants, and I've scheduled some time to do that this afternoon. I have Tai Chi recurring on Fridays. I've got a class that I go to with my husband. So this is actually a personal calendar. So you can see over here in this list of calendars, on the side, I've got a daily template. I've got a personal one, right? And I've got a primary one. So this would be, I use this primary for things that are not billable for the work that I do for clients, right? So this would be, I'm working on like this accounting for my S Corp, right? So or if I'm meeting with my accountants or something like that that's central to the business. I'm going to talk a little bit in just a minute about what it'll look like for you as a brand partner and how you might create some different schedules here for yourself. But just some examples here. I think that we should definitely have one that is dedicated to work or types of work. I think that we should certainly have one that is personal so that you can clearly visually delineate what's what. I have a family one here as well, but that actually brings in my husband's MBA schedule, which I don't necessarily need to see all the time. And then, of course, you can include things like growth or wellness, things that are related to your goals. So if you wanted to make sure if journaling is an intention of yours, then you should maybe have a growth section on your calendar here. You might add a new calendar, call it growth, and then create space in the morning. Maybe have a daily routine or a daily template here let me make this the daily template, and I'm going to call this morning routine. Right. And so here's the morning routine from 6:30 to 7:30. And maybe let me adjust that a little further. I'm going to do this just to give myself enough space. 6 a.m. from wake up until 7:45 a.m. When I have breakfast, right? So this is my daily template, morning routine, right? And so I could repeat that every day. But then what I do in this period is I could create space for myself intentionally to give myself 15 minutes to journal, right? So I'm going to write journal. I'm going to use the growth calendar for this. And this is going to be between 6:30 and 7:30. And you can see here that I am intentionally placing inside of here journaling. Maybe I'm only going to give myself maybe 10 minutes for that, or 15. We'll do this from 6:15 to 6:30. And this should be AM. There we go. So I'm going to save that. And so we've got a quick little journaling here. And then maybe I also want to exercise, right? So I'm going to do Pilates in the morning. And so that's going to be between 6:30 and 7:30. Again, this is going to be on my growth calendar. I can save that. And maybe I only want to do this 2 days a week. So I'm going to have my morning routine in place. Let me go in and actually make this a repeating event. So this is going to repeat custom. And I'm going to have it repeat weekly on weekdays: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There we go. So I can say done. I can save that. And now my morning routine shows up here from 6 to 7:45. Maybe I want to do Pilates on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and double click that. And again, right here on the repeat, I will go to custom and I will do Mondays and Wednesdays. Click done, click save. And now I'm going to be reminded to do that. And journaling, I want to make sure I do every day. So let's go ahead and edit that one as well. And we're going to repeat that every weekday. So this is going to be every week on those weekdays. So when I save that, you can now see that I've created space. If I'm going to be waking up at 6, I need to be able, I give myself a little bit of time. I got 15 minutes, go to the bathroom, make sure that I'm dressed, maybe turn my diffuser on. Maybe I need to remind myself with like a evening routine, such as down here, to maybe one of the things I do in that period is to load my diffuser for the morning, right? And then so I can sit down and I can journal for 15 minutes. And then I can hop on my reformer or turn on a class or something on my TV, and I can do Pilates on these days, right? So you see how we can build that in? All right, I am a little bit ahead of myself, but the most important thing you need to know is to have a calendar. And then in the calendar, add more of them, right? So add other calendars, have at least one for work, have one, I don't use the tasks one, and that's because I am a Mac user, and my primary calendar that I use is actually on the Mac. I don't usually go in and manage it in Google Calendars like this. So I would say you want work, personal growth, daily template, and then of course you can add others if you like. So let's go take a look again, and feel free if you have questions as we're going through this to ask away. But once we have mapped out how we spend our time, right? So when do I have other engagements? When am I available for deep work? When am I wanting to create space for personal growth, for exercise, things like that? When am I doing family stuff? Make sure that you use your daily template calendar to map out your entire week, right? That's the most important thing to do first, because what you're going to do is have that in place so that you have a visual cue to let you know where you can schedule the projects and the other type of work that needs to get done, right? So we're creating a template that we can lay work on top of. So let me just show you one more time before I come back over here and walk through these concepts again. You can see that there is a daily template happening underneath basically everything that you see, obviously with the exception of, me doing my birthday spa day after Tai Chi on Friday. Right. So if we look at like next week, we've got all this daily template happening. Obviously, it's not happening while I'm in this, but this is all set up here so that I can go in and add other stuff, which I'm going to show you what that looks like here in just a second. So daily template yourself first so that you've got space accounted for how you want to spend your time, right? We're going to be intentional about what the boundaries look like. Now, the next step is to then build out that ideal week by creating recurring events, right? So that's your daily template. You're mapping the whole day, your work time, personal time, family time, all of it. Create the space, define the space. Some of these blocks you'll be shown as busy, meaning you can't be booked on a calendar, right? And then others should be free. So when you know that you would like to allow yourself to be available for calls, then you mark yourself as free on these recurring events, right? So the daily template calendar is all recurring events, right? Based on if your Mondays look the same way, build the Monday and make the Monday repeat, right? I understand for a lot of us, not every day of our week has the same open amount of availability, right? I'm a new empty nester. I got all the time I want for myself. And so mine looks the way that it does because of the season of life that I'm in. You may be doing this where each day of the week looks different, but they generally allow the same kind of availability or lack thereof, right? Right. And just remember as you're doing this that what I show you here affords me the ability to work more than 40 hours per week. I don't work more than 40 hours per week, you guys. Right. So this is really, it's an ideal layout, right? It's creating an ideal set of circumstances. Do I wake up at 6 o'clock every morning? Absolutely not. Right. I can, and I do, and sometimes even earlier, but it just depends on where you're at. So don't try to create something that doesn't fit where you are right now. Make sure that what you put in place for this reflects truly where you are currently, because this is something that you're going to be adjusting over time. All right, so the next step here is to create your work type calendars. So these are those additional calendars that I want you to create. So we've got our daily template, but we also want to create for things like our projects or deep work. I just call mine work, right? But I would recommend for a brand partner who's actively prospecting that you segregate the work types into your different types of blocks where you're doing project or deep work during uninterruptible time, and that you're doing prospecting type work during interruptible time, right? So that would be your communication. So create a calendar for deep work or projects, create a calendar for communications, create a calendar for personal, maybe for wellness or growth. And these are, again, just some examples, and you guys saw the ones that I use. Now, what you're going to do once you create these calendars, pick their colors, et cetera, is you're going to schedule out your week. So you're going to use those work type calendars to specify what you'll do inside of your template blocks. So we want to be specific, right? So this isn't just work. This is, I'm working on course module 3, or I'm reaching out to 5 new people, or I'm planning my Q2 content for my website. And then we're going to adjust these during the week as needed, right? And then move anything that's unfinished to the next available block, right? So I often, when I'm planning my week, I'm not going to allot for every single block of time. I'm going to go ahead and build out what I roughly think I need. And then I've got space to adjust, right? And that's really what that daily template framework is for. And if something comes up and you need to be unavailable, it is possible to go in and just mark yourself as busy. So let me just come back over here to the calendar, and I will show you, we'll just pretend that I am an active brand partner. I'm going to go to other calendars, and I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call this communications. And this is what I'm going to use for prospecting, social media, one-on-ones with customers, team, and leads, right? So this is what communications is. This is the only thing that I do during communications time. So I have that new calendar. You can see here it's called communications. Let's go ahead and also edit this work one. I'm going to call this projects, right? And this is going to be time to complete tasks for specific projects, such as content creation, funnel building, website updates, etc. Right? Newsletter creation, etc. Things like this, right? So there's my projects. I've got that done. So I have a projects calendar and I have a communications calendar. Again, I also have a personal one, I have a growth one, and we're going to be layering these over the daily template. Okay, so let's go back to here. And I think, yeah, we're looking at next week. So I've got a recurring event for myself that is related specifically to my growth. This business igniter, let me see, that's showing up on the attract well one, which should be, I need to change the color of this. Oh, I see. Let me actually just switch over and show you guys what this looks like in my actual calendar app that I use on my device. I think it looks a lot neater there, and I think it's easier to understand. So bear with me with me for a second. This is Apple's calendar. So iCal or Apple Calendar is what this is. And so you can see this is what this week looks like. The colors are a lot cleaner too. You can see how I've planned out my week, where I've got my daily template. I've got my project work that I've done here. I've got calls for, these are attract well calls in orange. These are GetOiling calls in this light blue. And my personal stuff, like taking my dog to the groomer, going to Tai Chi, or spending the day at the K-Spa. Those are all here. Other types of business work I have in this color calendar. So you see how I've kind of set that up, right? Now, if I go to next week, I can come over here and see that I've got all of this great space available. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and create for myself a plan, right? So I know that in my dedicated time next week, I am going to be, first, this is going to be on my work calendar. I'm going to be working on, let's say, for instance, I need to create my, let's see, what am I going to do? I'm going to work on my content, right? So this is going to be content creation for March. I'm getting ahead, right? Content creation for March. And I'm going to give myself, because I have space for it, a 2-hour block here. Now, I don't have to worry about setting myself as free or busy here, because this daily template is already doing that for me, right? So that's there. That's good. I can work on content creation while I walk on my treadmill. And I might decide to, if I continue, like if I'm working well here, I might be able to just go ahead and take up this block of time for it. That could give me all of the time that I need to get it all done. Maybe I have another thing that I want to prioritize, though. Maybe I am working on my website. So in that case, also, again, in this dedicated space that I have for deep work that's uninterruptible, I am going to go ahead and work on funnel, right? So I'm going to work on funnel development. Okay, so I've got that worked out. I've got a coaching call for momentum in the afternoon, and that's going to take up the majority of this block after lunch. So I'm going to go ahead and create a space here. And I would actually use my communications calendar for this. I don't think that this calendar has updated to show that one yet, though. Let me see. Yes, it is. Here it is. Communications. So here, what I'm going to do in this hour of this afternoon is I'm going to connect with 5 new people. And then I'm going to give myself another hour using social media. And again, if someone hops on my calendar during this time, it's fine, right? Because it's not the focused work that's going to be as difficult to detach myself from. And we want to be booking and speaking with people. That's, a really important part of the work that we do. And so here I've connected with 5 new people, and I'm going to here pick up 5 existing conversations, right? So I'm giving myself space to do that. And I actually know that I want to do this. It's going to be my goal for every day next week. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste and create these for the days that I have available, right? And again, I want to make sure that despite these being my goals, these are not marking me as busy. Let's make sure these actually mark me as free as well, because I do want to do this work, but I also want, if a prospect wants to connect with me and they see my link to book with me, I want them to be able to hop on my calendar. Okay, this is getting a little wonky here. So what I might actually do here is just go ahead and make this a goal on a weekly basis. So let's repeat this. Custom, I want to every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I want this. There we go. And I'm going to do the same here. And I'm going to repeat weekly. It's custom Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There we go. All right. So that will actually populate there for me, which is great. Right. And then for the project work, let's just say at the end of the day, 4 o'clock, I have my wrap up and next day prep. The end of the day on Monday, if I discover that I haven't actually gotten to the stopping point that I wanted, maybe my funnel's not done yet, I can go ahead and allot the next block of time that I have available on an upcoming day to continue that work, right? So do you see how we're able to actually insert it because we know where we can? And then when we are deciding when we're going to work, we can also very clearly decide what we're going to work on. Is this making sense? Do you see how this works together? I really, really love doing this, and it was difficult for me to adopt this in the first place. But when I tell you, this is with absolutely no exaggeration, when I finally adopted this process, I tripled my productivity and maybe even better, right? Because I really was thinking that busy was the way to move, that busy was the solution, and it just wasn't, right? Busy isn't the thing that gets things done, right? Intentionality is. So we're going to plan each week. So at the end of each week, we spend 15 minutes planning what we're going to do next week. So doing just what I showed you, you're going to use your different types of calendars to clearly delineate the types of work you're going to be doing in the spaces that your daily template makes available for you. You're going to fill in your work blocks using your additional calendars. And this weekly planning is going to save you hours of reactivity, right? This allows you to choose how you react and what you do next. Now, the final piece here is to get this all connected to GetOiling. So if we have our calendar built out with these kind of details, we have a calendar that clearly knows when we're available and when we're not, right? Because each one of these things that we've created, each one of these events say we are free or we are busy, meaning folks can book us, right? And we don't want to be free all the time. The cost of being available all the time is the cost of true productivity and focus in the work that you do. And that is something that robs you not only of productivity, but of joy and completion that you get, the satisfaction of completion of the work that you do, right? So we're going to take this calendar that we've just worked on and make sure that it's connected to your GetOiling account under My Calendars. And if you do book calls with a different calendar, we're going to be adding this one under the additional calendars to check for all booking types. And GetOiling Scheduler is going to read this calendar and any others that you have connected so that we are preventing schedule conflicts automatically. And guys, the reason this whole thing works is because we're not making decisions in the moment about how our time is spent. We are deciding what this looks like for us. We're deciding what we want our week to look like, our day to look like, so that we can reclaim our hours from lost focus, get the work done that we want to get done, and actually feel that accomplishment and see the results in our business, right? So this calendar is going to tell you what to focus on. You just show up and do it. This is kind of the beauty of also using like follow-up plans in your GetOiling system. If you ever sit down and you say, man, I really need to work on my business, but you don't really know what to start on, this is going to help you with that. And if you're using follow-up plans in GetOiling, you can just log in and see who has a to-do today, and you go get that to-do done, right? So this calendar gives you that space to focus on those things. If you have a lot of follow-up to-dos with contacts in your system, then I would absolutely be going in with your communications calendar and setting aside hour-long blocks of time for you to just go in and knock those to-dos off so that you're staying on top of being in touch with your people, right? So those busy blocks on your calendar are going to protect your time automatically, and your free blocks are going to allow booking with you without any manual updates. All right. So let's go take a look at how we connect this in GetOiling, and of course, take any questions, live help, Q&As, etc. All right. So I'm going to come over here to GetOiling. And what you're going to want to do is over here on the left-hand side, you're going to go to My Calendars. And I actually have this connected already. I'm just going to go ahead and delete. And I actually don't need to have the daily template, personal, etc. So long as you have that calendar, just the main one connected. I'm going to disconnect this one as well. Let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to connect another calendar. This is a Google Calendar. I'm going to select the one that I want to use, which is this one for me. I'm going to click continue. I'm going to give it permission. It's giving GetOiling permission to see the calendars. And I'm just going to use this primary, but it is going to show anytime you're not available, it is going to show that you're not available, right? Or if you are. So if we go to our booking types and our call packages, what we want to make sure that we do is for each of these that we have, we're going to go over here. And this might be the primary booking, right? So I might use maybe Jane's website-based email for the calendar that people see, but we want to check against this other one. So I'm going to come down here under scheduling settings, and we're going to attach that to additional calendars to check. Now, this is a group one, which I picked the wrong one. I need to go back to a different calendar here. Here we go. This is a perfect one to use. Under scheduling settings. And again, this is if you have multiple calendars. Under scheduling settings, additional calendars to check. That calendar that I chose there. Now you can see Jane has 9 to 5 every day available, right? Now, I'm not actually available from 9 to 5. Let's go take a look at this. This should show, let me see. Well, I don't have that connected correctly. Anyway, so what it's going to do is it's going to take a look at the calendars that you have connected and what that availability looks like. So let me come back over here to my calendars, and I'm going to connect again my daily template. And that should do it, actually, because that's going to dictate what the availability truly is. Because we have that, there we go, daily template. I'm going to select this one. And now we can go back to this booking type. We'll take a look at this weekly check-in. Oh, we do need to make sure that we have that daily template in the calendars to check down here under scheduling settings. So you just want to make sure that your scheduling settings has the ability to check against. Here we go. There's my daily template. I will save. I'll come over here and I'll look again. And we should now be able to see that, yeah, there we go. The availability on my daily template, if we come back over here and look, 12:30 to 2 is where availability starts here. And you can see here, 12:30 to 2, and then it opens back up, right? So let me actually go to the 9th. I think that's where I am right here. Yeah, February 9th. So February 9th should show this is being unavailable. And then this, we've got, this is I'm free. You can see here, because I'm prospecting during this time. I want to be bookable. So I am going to be bookable during that time, right? And that, again, until the end of the day that I've specified, which is in the booking type here between 9 and 5. So long as you have your calendars here that reflect when you're busy, connected, right? And they're all going to be here in your Google Calendar. So daily templates, the communications one, again, I wouldn't necessarily worry about because that's going to be something that you do during your hours when you're bookable. But projects you're going to do when you're not bookable, the most important thing you need to do is connect your daily template, right? Because your daily template should be the primary source of truth about frames of time that you are available and that you are not, right? And for people to book with you. So long as you have that correct in your calendar, and you have that daily template connected right here under additional calendars to check, then you are good, right? So you're going to want to repeat that for all of your booking types and all of your call packages, so that it is always checking against when you might not be available. So if I go here to scheduling settings, additional calendars to check, daily template, save, view, and then we can come over here and see that, again, it's actually not going to show any availability when I'm truly not available. So like on Fridays, I typically keep space on Fridays to where I am bookable for most of the day. I don't do as much deep work. I save that for earlier in the week. And so you can actually see when we go back here that it has morning availability. All right, so is this making sense? So what you want to do is set your calendar up, make sure that it is connected here, most importantly, that daily template calendar, and then make sure that in all of your booking types and call packages that you are checking against it in the scheduling settings by coming down here to scheduling settings, additional calendars to check, and just make sure, again, at minimum, that daily template calendar is there. All right. Let me see if there are questions here that I can get to. And if you guys want to chat through how you use this, I'm happy to do that here as well. Okay, Allison says, how much do you actually keep to your schedule? I find that I allow 3 hours, 6 to 9 for my poodle's care, exercise, and shower, breakfast. I have a tough time keeping to that because there are other little things in there. It's not like I bounce out of bed and I'm transported to the front door with the dogs and all of us bundled up. Yeah. So what the answer to this, to answer the first part of your question, how well do I keep to it? In the beginning, I created my calendars very optimistically, and I did not keep to it. And if you are at all ADD type distractible, like I am, kind of all or nothing, let me do 17 million changes on January 1st. And then where'd they all go? I'm back to who I was in June. By February 1st, right? If that sounds familiar. What I've discovered over the years is that if you create blocks of time that afford you the ability to do the things you know you have to do, then you're going to be successful with this. So I tried to get really granular and say, I would do a morning routine, and then I would do an exercise block, and then I would do, breakfast, and then I'd be ready to sit down and do my work. Well, things shift. Sometimes the dog, something happens, or if it's kids or whatever, right? So you have to kind of decide where the hardest boundaries are and what the top priorities are, right? And so this is where, having some flexibility with the space that you provide yourself, like literally the blocks of time. So if the morning can be something that's a little tricky for you, don't get too granular with it. If you know you're going to wake up at this time and you want to sit down and work by this time, then you now know that this is the space that you have available to get the things done that you need to get done. And we could just call that your morning routine, right? And that morning routine might take a little longer in the wintertime when you've got to bundle everybody up, right? And you get to account for that. And I think that that's an important thing to bring up here as well. And I appreciate you asking this way. This is something that I come back to and revisit every 3 to 4 months, right? So the way that I've been approaching this of late, since both my husband and my daughter are full-time college students right now, I am kind of adjusting what family time looks like around their college schedules, right? And obviously with one being far away and him being here, when the dog goes out, right? Like when is dinner, et cetera, right? So these adjust, and you should give yourself space to allow these things to adjust seasonally and with other commitments that you have. So, for instance, my husband and I decided that we were going to start taking Tai Chi classes. Well, those are in Manhattan. We can get to Manhattan. We don't live in Manhattan. And that can take some time. And in the winter, you guys know anything at all about New York City, to get from anywhere to anywhere when there is a drop of moisture on the ground, it can double, your in terms of expected amount of time to get somewhere if you're not walking. So, so I have to build that in. And so that means that I might anticipate doing my more flexible work during the time of day where I can fit it in, right? So prospecting would be flexible work, right? Going onto social and engaging with people. So that might go into the day that becomes more flex. But when I know for certain everything is settled, the kids have had lunch, I've got 2 hours, this is my block, I'm going to absolutely set that aside as the space that I'm not bookable, and I'm going to work on projects. And again, this is going to be something that's a little flexible for you day to day. It's going to look a little different. And of course, you do get to adjust and move these things around as you're actively using them. Let me see. Yes, set the time aside to do to-dos. Is it the Pareto principle or what? There's one of these. The time work expands to fill the time you've set for it. If it can be done in the last minute, it takes a minute to do. So why not set aside the minutes that you want to get done and surprise yourself and see that thing that you might have spent 3 hours on before because you were picking up your phone intermittently actually just took you 20 minutes, right? You can get to the point where something takes you 20 minutes that used to take you hours. All right. Let me see. Okay, Yulia, it looks like Greg has got your question there. Let me see if I've got anything else in the Q&A here. Is there any talk of connecting GetOiling to the lead section in Olio? Not presently, no. I think that I'm not familiar with that. Honestly, it's not something that that I have used as a tool. I think generally speaking, where prospects are concerned, the best place to put prospects is in front of a conversation with you, because prospects aren't going to learn to love Young Living enough and trust Young Living enough to commit to using product long term. You're the pathway to that. So anytime we're talking about using a tool that helps us to connect with a prospect, it should be in service of a one-on-one, right? It should be in service of conversation, however it is that you communicate naturally with that prospect, text, phone, etc. And as close to true one-on-one as possible. So not broadcasting out something to them, not just copy paste dumping something, but a conversation, because those are the things that are going to actually move the conversation forward towards someone becoming a customer for life, which if you're going to put the work in to get a customer, why not put in the work to get a customer for life? And I think that plugging them into an app, even if Young Living makes the app, is not going to make them trust Young Living more. You're the reason they're going to trust Young Living in the first place. We agree with that, Allison. I think we agree with that. All right. Anybody else have questions, or do you want to chat through how you might go about setting something like this up? Have you tried something like this in the past? Are you looking for a way to modify or make it better? Feel free to say so in the chat or ask a question, or if there's anything else that you guys would like to look at together today. Just remember from the top, really important, decide where your space is and what space you're going to allow yourself. Create a daily template calendar and block out the entire week with recurring events. And so into the future, you don't have to reset it. You can, again, sit down with this once every 3 to 4 months as you need to. Maybe, like for me, I do this at the start of semesters because that's when their schedules change. Mine stays pretty consistent. You may choose to do this a little differently. You may have fewer constraints on your time, right? But then create additional dedicated calendars for the types of work you do. And then at the beginning, or actually the end of the week, so on Friday, let's say, or over the weekend, go ahead and go in and create those spaces for yourself to do the work that you know you need to do, the project type work, and of course, the communications work that powers your business. And when I say communications, I'm not talking about making pretty newsletters. That's project work. Okay. Communications is prospecting. I'm talking about communicating in conversations, right? So you want to be creating space for that. And you're going to be able to hold that space sacred and actually spend time on those projects because you have decided to draw lines around them in your calendar. All right, so this calendar stuff, you've talked about a workaround for the to-dos to be in calendar view. Oh, okay. So Allison, I think what you're talking about, and I can only speak to this as an Apple user. If you have, and I don't know what version this would be true for, so take all of this with a grain of salt. I know that on newer Macs with newer operating systems, so Silicon Macs, if you have an M1 or an M chip, And this is going to be true for newer iPhones and iPads as well. Um, if you have in your reminders app, and this is a different app entirely. So Mac has reminders and they have calendar. When you create date and time based reminders in your reminders app, they can overlay into your calendar. So that's where you can get a little bit more micro about your to-dos. I don't really fool around with that though, right? Because my to-dos are one thing. And I manage that separately. And the calendars are really just where I draw my boundaries, right? So my recommendation for you is to look at the calendar as a broader way to draw your boundaries, where you can then go and reference maybe the to-dos that you have. So during those communication blocks that you set on your calendar, open up GetOiling, see what to-dos you have in GetOiling, because that's going to be communication related stuff, reaching out to people, adding notes, etc. Right? So in those blocks you set aside, visit your to-do lists, right? Because I don't think that putting them into the calendar itself is particularly helpful. And the reason is this: in order for you to be able to maybe move a to-do you didn't get to another day, you still have to go into the reminders app and change it, right? And so it's not truly manageable from the calendar, and it just makes it more complicated than it needs to be. I do create to-do lists, and I adapt and add to them as I go. There's a book called The One Thing, forgot the author's name. It's a good book, worth reading if you like productivity books. But I keep a list called The One Thing, meaning like this is the most important thing that I need to work on right now. And then I have, other more categorized lists that I have due by a looser time frame, right? And it's harder to put something like that into a calendar. But if you create space for the connected list, right? So if you say during this project time, here is my checklist for my project, right? Because your to-do list for your funnel is going to be different from your to-do list for building your website, right? Or working on your newsletter or updating your weekly wellness tips. So have those as their own lists, and then create blocks of time for you to address those lists would be the way to go about doing that. Oh, the to-dos and GetOiling and follow-up plan stuff. So that's always going to be in GetOiling. So so like I mentioned, with your communications calendar, that's going to be the opportunity to set a block for yourself. And you could even write into that event to remind yourself exactly what you're supposed to do. Where the first thing you do is check GetOiling to-dos, right? And go through and do that. So you're giving yourself a certain amount of time every day to go in, review the to-dos, perform the actions, and check them off. So those are all communications category stuff for the most part. So you're going to go through and do that, right, in that period of time. So we don't have a way to overlay like the GetOiling to-dos into your actual calendar. But again, the calendar is really just, it's not about coloring in the details. It's about color washing sections of your day, to mix metaphors, which I want to do. All right. Appreciate your questions, guys. And super excited to have you here today. Oh, a calendar view for those. That's an interesting idea worth putting on the wish list. I like that. A calendar view for upcoming to-dos. Like, here's what I need to do on these days, and to look at it as a calendar. We'll make sure that we add that to the wish list. Got you. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for that. And by the way, you guys, the features that we have, which I actually didn't, let me show you guys a quick, sorry, got carried away talking about the minutia of this. Greg did some cool stuff, guys, as usual. So when you upload a new PDF using the files section here, so if you have a PDF that you share, let me see if I can find one. Let me see, I did something like, here we go. Here's a PDF. You've got an option here when you upload to show it on the page. Actually,
You have to be in the editor to do that, not on the file manager. So like if you're editing a campaign or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to make sure
there's no place to link it right here.
Yeah, so it's here, right? So if I wanted to put this into a campaign, in my day zero campaign, right? So if I wanted to pop this in here, I want to share a link to something. I'm going to come right down here. So I'll say click here to download. And I'm going to go right up here to more rich. and I'm going to insert this PDF. And here we go. We can view this PDF directly here in the content, or we can insert a link to download. So if I go to insert this way, it actually shows up. The PDF shows up right here, which is super cool. But then the other option would be, love that. We could also just insert it as a link, and this allows you to edit the text. Click to download is what I'll use as the text, insert. So we have both of these options available, which is super cool. And there is also, if you want to capture a signature from someone on a page, maybe you are creating some kind of an agreement that someone needs to sign off on. In our settings here on our page, let's pretend we have a form here, fields and booking. We can add a field here and include a digital signature. We can require a digital signature. And I'm going to show this on the page so that we can do a quick preview of this. Do you see this here where we can add a signature? So that's super cool. And let me see, there is also a request that came in yesterday. If you are someone who is taking payments for booking, so maybe people are booking they're booking you for wellness scans and they're paying at the point of booking, or you're doing other types of work for them. Maybe it's this one here. We can come down here and choose to require payment. And you do need a Stripe account, but you can now choose a recurring payment that can be weekly. We now have every 2 weeks, as well as monthly, quarterly, and yearly to rebill for access to these calls. So every time they are billed, they get access to book again, which is pretty cool. So yeah, thank you, Greg. Always waving the magic wand and granting wishes as they come in. If you guys have a wish, let us.
The voice text too, if you want.
Oh, that's right. How could I forget? This might be the coolest thing that you guys see here today. So what we do here is, okay, let me find this here real quick. So it's just in this, it's in two-way texting, right?
Oops, it's in there and it's through the contact manager too, but yeah.
So if we're chatting with someone, we can go right here to talk to text, and we can actually, I haven't registered the number here, but you can actually send a voice note this way, you guys. So if you want to record your voice and say something, and this is two-way texting, this isn't sending a broadcast out to 100 people. This is, you are basically DMing back and forth with somebody from your GetOiling system to their phone. You can send them a voice message or a voice memo, just like you would from your phone, but you could do it from right here, which is—
You can do the contact manager too. So it is possible to attach it to a broadcast message as well. Just like you can attach a picture, you can also attach it with a picture if you want. So there's a couple different options there.
Okay, so if I want to send a text, this right here. Oh my gosh. So you can record your voice, add an image, and send it out. So you can broadcast this as well as in the two-way texting. That's so cool. Oh my goodness. So if you want to send your actual voice message out to however many people you want as a broadcast or as a one-on-one message, you can do that. And that can be combined with images that you send out as well. Imagine, oh my goodness. I love how personalized you can get with that. It is so very cool. And yeah, you don't have to have two-way texting enabled in your GetOiling system to be able to use this. Though we definitely do recommend it if you want to be able to chat back and forth with people when they respond. All right. Thank you guys for being here, for being amazing, and for making the kind of requests that result in these cool updates. All right. We will be back same time next week. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk soon. Take care.